Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and it's been 4 or 5 days since I finished part 1 of the video, and we need to know just how this thing's going to work out. We've got the little Grizzley power lift for the head, you know, the automagical lift, and we need to get on into this video and see how it works out. Yeah, there's a little spot here for the set screw. Not going very fast because I'm too lazy to change the belt. Yeah, shame, isn't it? Bruno Martini made some more of those tool holders and sent them to me, and I made a couple of them. In fact, he sent me the file so I could print them on my 3D printer. And I came out here installing the little boogers. I got 2 of them here, and I was putting one up there, and I made more work for myself. Had to burn it. That door always catches. When I was pushed on here to push the drill bit in, this piece right here collapsed. This thing right here. You can see how it's not much. It was that old particle board crud. So I'm going to have to put a whole new front piece on my shelves there. And I guess it's a miracle that they're holding it up like they are anyway. You can see the shelves are nailed into the crud. I don't know, maybe I'll just take the new stuff and cut it out and mount it right over the top of the old junk. But that can't be very good. Of course, it's been there since I don't know, 1977, I guess. I'm going to try to power tap it just a little ways anyway. We'll see what happens. Probably I'm messing up, but hey, I gotta mess up sometime, huh? Now that's going too fast for tapping, isn't it? But it sure did cut in there a long ways. I think I like that. Now I can take this thing out, and I can finish tapping it right there. But I'd like to see just how far in that tap went. Well, it came where the tip's sticking through. You can see the tip in there, just barely. So, alright. There's more room on the drill press, so I'm going to move over there and crank it around with a wrench. This is the screw that came out of the original handle up there, so I know where it's at. If I want to put the handle back on, it'll be right here in this little gear. Isn't that nice? Then I don't even need 2 different screws. I got what I need right there. It's a little ragged on the inside there where it came through. There's a burr, and that's a real pain getting that burr out of there, but I'll give it a little try, and then I'll shove this on the shaft and see what we got. Did a little deburring, and then I slid it on there, and I had to deburr the shaft a little bit too, where they cut the flat. The edges of it had some rough spots. So anyway, it's on there. It fits really nice and snug, so it's not going to wobble, I don't think, or bounce up and down or anything like that. So now I've got to make a bracket to hold the motor, and I had a bracket when I used the motor before, and it's probably not going to be a good bracket for this time anyway. So I got to look around in here and find some probably square tubing to make myself a bracket with. I may or may not have started on the bandsaw, but I'm definitely there now. So get this piece cut off, and then I'll set it up in the little Grizzley and try to drill the hole to mount it with as accurately as possible. That's a 4x6 bandsaw, and that's a 3x5 piece of square tubing. So I'm not going to be able to cut all the way down. I'll have to lay it over on its side to finish. I guess I could have thought of that before I got started, but I didn't. Now I'm just trying to even it out a little bit. It may not be deep enough. It's just barely chewing off a tiny little bit on this side here. It cut a pretty good bit here because this side was high, but it's kind of low over there. I can see the little cut marks, so I'm going to be happy with it when I get all the way around. And if it's not 100% square, it's not really going to make that much difference. It's just a bracket. You see this little chip cleaner? Wes Howe brought this thing back from the Bosch for me, the 2018 Bosch. And I thought that was real nice of him to do that. So there you are. I got less than 30 minutes of battery here. I hope I make it. I've wallowed out a hole in the bottom of this piece. It should fit up on the side where the crank is. And now what I need to do is to put 4 holes here on the corners to hold it down, and then I'll be able to bolt it up there and see how much I missed everything else, because I think I'm going to have to turn it over, of course, and probably cut a hole on the other side. I'm not certain, but the little shaft there may need to stick through the side here, and I'll just do that the easy way by just setting it up there and comparing it. I shut off the camera a minute ago and went to supper a while ago earlier, and then after I had supper I thought, well, my camera's charging upstairs, I'll go to the range. So I went to the range for a while, and when I got ready to go home there was a power failure and the gate was locked. It's an automatic gate, works on, you know, one of those automatic things, works on a computer when there's electricity. So I had to wait till somebody come and disassembled part of the gate to get me and several other guys out of there. But then I came home and got back into this, so it's all going to work out for the best. And now we want holes in the corners. That ought to be a good stopping point for today. We'll come back tomorrow and take up where we left off. Alright, I've got her all centered up here, and I drilled a little pilot hole there with a center drill, which didn't break or anything, amazingly. And now I'm going to try to drill through with this little guy here. It's a 16th. I'm trying to put a 16th roll pin in there, and hopefully it'll all fit. I should have this thing cranked up to high enough a speed that the little drill bit can work properly. See if it's straight. Looks straight. Hopefully I won't break the drill bit. Got it turning pretty fast. I guess a little lubricant's good. Got it turned above 1,000 RPM, so maybe that ought to cut right through. There you are. I believe that went right on through. So now all I got to do is clean it up a little bit and put this roll pin in it, and everything should be lovely, I hope. So more along the lines of the best laid plans of mice and men, broke off that roll pin down in the hole, and it's not all the way through. So I guess I'll try to use this little roll pin punch that came in the mail yesterday, I think, maybe day before. I'll try to use it to knock the pin out. Alright, so I missed this by a bunch. This thing needs to come up about somewhere up about here, you know, sort of curved in, because my holes that lands on that little Bosch, and the holes won't line up. So it's getting hot in here, so maybe tonight when it starts cooling off some, I'll come back out and work on it. I'll have to bolt it back down to the table and all that stuff anyway, so you know what they say, it's always another exciting adventure. Now it fits on the back side, so I've got to do a little adjusting around here on the side where the motor's going to mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this hole just a little bit further this direction, and then the bolt holes, I'm going to slide them down that way a little bit, and that should make it easy for me to just ease the motor and the gear right up until it meshes. At least that's my plan. So y'all take a little nap while I work on it. Alright, let's give it a test drive. It's hooked up. Here's the switch. We're heading down. Stop. Go the other way. That looks like success at last. So there you have it. This project is probably about wrapped up. Now I know I need to take the bracket off and degrease it and paint it and all that. And I'm going to think about whether I want to do that or not, but that won't be part of this video. Maybe I'll come back sometime later and you'll see it's green, or maybe from now on it'll be black. Who knows? Well, it seems like Bubba had this uncle. Bubba, he's second uncle on his mother's side. Uncle Bubba was a thrifty sort of guy. In fact, a lot of folks said he was downright tight. And he married a gal just like him, you know, and so they were kind of tight. Well, they'd like to go to the state fair every year, and every year they'd go to the fair, and there'd be this guy with a little airplane taking people around for rides, and so it was $50. And Bubba suggested, she'd say, $50, $50. And he'd say, yeah, you're right, $50, $50. So they wouldn't ride the plane, although, you know, they wanted to. And this went on year after year until finally one year they were standing there discussing it. The pilot heard him. He said, "Look here," he says, "I'll make you a deal." He says, "I'll take you up for a flight, and if neither one of you says anything at all," he says, "this flight will be for free." He says, "After all, $50 is $50." And they said, "Yep, let's go." So they hopped in the plane with him, and he took off. And of course, he didn't plan on giving them a free flight. So he went out and he did loop-de-loops and barrel rolls and all kind of things, and never heard a word out of him. He landed, got down on the ground, he turned to Bubba and he said, "Well," he says, "I'll have to give you credit." He says, "After all that stuff I did," he said, "I never heard a word out of you." He says, "Yeah," he says, "I almost said something when Emily fell out." Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.